Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special bonus episode of the Finger Guns Podcast with Tony, Dave, and James.
Ooh.
I know, it's been so long, like a year since we've done a bonus episode.
We did the Oscar one.
Correct. Okay, so it's only been a few months.
But it's still been quite a while since we've done a bonus episode.
This is true. Yeah.
Didn't we just record?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and we're back again.
Am I in the Twilight Zone or something?
No, we're just never stopping. Never stopping.
Never stop, never stopping.
It just never stops.
Can't stop, won't stop.
So in this bonus episode, which is going to be like a low fanfare and a lot of movies that we got to get to talking about, we are, as we've mentioned, I think in the past, covering Tribeca, which has been a lot of fun,
Sure has.
and enjoyable. But we got a whole slate of movies to cover for the Tribeca Film Festival, so we figured we'd throw in a bonus episode, get a bunch of them out of the way, and give you guys a whole bunch to think about and talk about, and maybe see if you're in the States, or maybe put on your watch list that I'm sure all of our super fans make because of all the movies that we watch that they can't see yet.
This is true.
Question for you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've hammered back at least like 6 or 7 Tribeca movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at 7. Yeah.
Do you guys notice a vibe? Like they're all like kind of a vibe. Like TIFF movies are like, you know, like you can
Sure.
look at it and be like,
Sure.
it's TIFF. You
Yeah.
can look at it as Sundance. Have you picked it up for Tribeca yet? Because I'm starting to get a vibe.
What's the vibe, Tony?
I don't really know. It's
Have you guys found
Cool.
a vibe? I don't really know if
I
it's
don't know.
a vibe
I
or
can't
not.
describe the vibe, but there is a vibe.
it's like almost like I want to compare it to Sundance, but I haven't seen enough No, I should say I've seen Sundance. It's like it's like a different version of Sundance, like a different like indie. Like I can't put my finger on it,
Yeah.
but they
Okay.
all follow like the same. Like watching the movies that we did, I'm starting to be like, okay, you know what? Like I get it. I get what they're going for.
Like trying to be Sundance or rejected from Sundance?
Rejected from Sundance. Tribeca, rejected from Sundance.
Which no complaints and no judgment
complaint.
here
I'm not-
because I have been rejected from Sundance 3 times in a row. So 4th time is the charm.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man. I'm putting the pin in it. I'm planting the
Okay.
seed right now.
Okay.
When we're done with
We'll
the
talk-
festival, maybe.
Yeah. We'll talk over the next couple episodes and see if we can pin down the vibe.
But there's definitely something there.
Feel
Yeah.
the vibes.
Feel the vibes for sure.
Okay. Well,
Like
feel
when
the
you
vibes.
see movies at South by Southwest, you're like, okay, I get it. This is
Yeah.
the vibe they're going
You're talking
for.
to James like he goes to festivals all
Yeah,
the
I
time.
know, right?
Well,
I was
Fantasia.
on the ground.
Fantasia.
Yes,
I get it.
Fantasia
Yes,
is a
yes.
vibe.
Is a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Sundance is a
Is a
vibe.
vibe.
TIFF is a vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
There was a surprising, I would say with Tribeca, though, my surprise has been there's a lot more documentaries than I was expecting.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like,
Yeah, we went from one documentary
knee-deep in
festival
docs.
to another.
I was like,
A lot of
fuck, man,
docs.
is this hot docs continued? Because fuck me. It's fine. I enjoy documentaries, but oh boy. I was expecting, like, I guess we started with a narrative feature, but then it was
Yeah.
just non-stop docs.
Just talks.
Would you call it narrative? I don't really think it was much of a narrative, so much as experimental.
Experimental.
Very experimental.
A fiction. A work of fiction.
Fiction.
A work
There you go.
of fiction.
Yeah.
That's a good segue to our first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what
But-
we're going to talk with?
Yeah.
We're gonna talk
Yeah,
about
You guys
this?
want to start with that? I'm
Yeah,
good
let's
to start
go.
with
Let's
that.
go with that.
So our first film is The Seeding.
Ooh, spooky.
I guess quick summary. I'll give the quick summary and then
Yes,
we can
please
kind of
do.
talk about it. So a guy heads out into the desert to photograph, do some like astronomy photographs. And on his way back down after a night of doing some time-lapse photography of the stars, he comes across a kid that is seemingly lost in the desert. He follows him.
He said he wanted to find his parents. He can't find his parents.
He was seemingly lost. Follows and he's trying to get the kid to come back with him to his car, but the kid walks off in the other direction. He follows this kid for a while, and then discovers a house that is down in a hole in the desert.
And he has to
It's
walk
like a chasm.
down.
It's like a chasm.
A chasm, sure. Let's
A
call
chasm.
and there's only one way
There's a-
down, and
there's
it's
a ladder.
Like it's a microcosm, right? Because it's its own.
well, I mean, there's a reason it's a microcosm, but we'll get there.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a house in a desert in a hole that has only one way down, and it's one ladder that is then followed by another ladder that is replaceable. And
He thought it was a good idea to go down there.
yeah,
Well,
and,
it was dark and there was light, so
Yeah.
he
And
sure as
human,
shit didn't know where he
maybe.
was.
yeah, and hilarity ensues.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, because he meets up with a young woman and she's very hospitable,
Yes.
and he stays there the night. And when he wakes up in the morning, the
Ladder's gone,
ladder's gone.
so he's trapped in a chasm
yes.
with a house and one lady.
Yes. Before we continue on our description,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say this was a world premiere, and there's still some screenings of it to come.
Excellent.
There's a screening actually today, I guess Tuesday, June 13th at 9 p.m. at the Village East by Angelica, as well as Saturday, June 17th at 9:30. And this one is not on the platform. So all of our fans in the US, if you want to see this film, you
And
have
your
to.
boots on the ground in New York.
You got to be boots on the ground in New York to see it.
Nice.
But saying all of that, what the fuck was this?
The actual fuck.
What the fuck?
Oh,
What?
So the best way I describe this movie
what?
is The Hills Have Eyes meets 127 hours.
yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
I don't know about the 127 hours, but Hills Have Eyes, I guess.
127 hours being stuck in a hole for a long period of time.
I know, but this
At least he doesn't
motherfucker
have to
can
cut
walk
his own arm
around.
off. Yeah.
But definitely more Hills Have Eyes for sure.
Yeah. And as the film goes on, you kind of learn why this house kind of exists, and what this guy's purpose was as to why he was led there.
And there's also kids in the wood in the
there's
desert who are
creepy
fucking
ass
with him.
fucking kids that continually fuck with him the entire time.
Like that
Yeah.
one kid who's random, like his dong's out and he's just pissing on
Pissing
him. Like
on
that's
him.
just rude,
Yeah.
man. That's
I
just
just-
rude.
Yeah, and they're all wearing this like these ridiculous outfits and just maniacal the entire time. But
Yeah.
like this movie started with a host of just terrible decisions
This is true.
of like that kid just started walking away from you. Stop following him.
Just go.
What the
Just
fuck?
you don't know this kid
Clearly this
anything.
kid,
he owes you
knows
nothing.
He owes you nothing.
And also, you walked for a while, and then you found this. What the? No, don't go down in the hole. I understand. We kind of mentioned of like, okay, like it was getting dark, and there was a house, and it was light, and there's a person. Okay, sure, you found someone who can maybe help you, but the sketchiness of getting down there was immediately like, no, sir, you're not going to get back out of this hole. This is it. This is where it ends. Whether it was, I was waiting for like the ladder to like rip out of the rocks on his way down or something.
I
but,
thought it was
like,
going to tumble.
right. But then of course the ladder was gone the next day, and then like it devolved into like feral territory and like, yeah, you mentioned it's a microcosm. Yeah, because of all the dead corpses in the ground, Dave.
Yeah.
That's the only reason plants grow. They've murdered a lot of people.
Anyways, yeah, it gets the feralness and the I was getting Midsummer vibes from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they like
And-
flayed that kid and left him over top of the hole.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
That was fucked.
And I hated the guy, which, credit to him, because what's his name? Scott Hayes.
Yeah.
Credit to him that he was a complete piece of shit, and it was about toxic masculinity. So good for him, because as the movie went on, I just fucking hated him more. And some of the visuals were cool, and I really enjoyed the impending dread throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, the atmosphere was
Yeah.
definitely.
The atmosphere was like dread
Yeah.
inducing, and fucking, what was the other one? The score is very like piercing and fucking like keeping you on on edge.
It sets the vibes.
It sets the vibes, but yeah, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
I will say shout outs to Caitlin Shell, who played the
that's
girl.
what I was
She
gonna-
was,
that's what I was
she
gonna
was
say.
fucking aces.
She was great.
If there's one thing that a good thing I want to say about this movie is
Yeah.
her performance.
Yep.
She goes from a very hospitable, very calm person to completely unhinged.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. She like really like plays her role of, luring this guy in for reasons
For reasons.
very, very well.
I didn't realize she's in You're Next.
Yep.
She's the lead in She Dies Tomorrow.
Which she's absolutely fantastic in.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wanted
she's in
to.
VHS 2.
VHS 1 as well.
Nice.
And yeah, she's in some good shit.
Yep.
So good for her.
Yeah,
on
she's
this
been
one,
around.
'cause she
crushes it.
She is very, very good in this film. But yeah, I didn't love it.
Yep.
Didn't
Doesn't
love
love
it.
it either.
Wasn't a big fan.
And
Yeah.
it was a
It's one of those that I respect more for the craft than I do for
yeah. Like, it was
anything
well
else.
shot. Like it looked nice.
No, it looked
was
great.
Yeah.
It looked great, and there was no goofy CGI or anything. But
straight up and down.
there was just some weird shit with like some of the like where he was playing with like the framing and the speeds. And
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Don't-
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. But yeah, didn't love it. But I'm sure it's definitely going to find an audience because it's creepy as shit.
And
So-
honestly, it was like I watched it. I'm like, is this Fantasia? Like, am I at the right festival? What is this movie? Why is it here?
Yeah. Definitely felt the same way.
Fast forward to next month when they announce it for
Yeah,
Fantasia.
exactly.
You're like, okay,
Slated
yeah,
for Fantasia.
tracks.
Well, there it is.
There it
Just
is.
needed to find its first home first.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about next?
Why don't we do breaking the news?
Ooh,
Yes, which is
excellent.
the first documentary of the evening
about the 19th asterisk.
about the 19th asterisk. Yes. So it's about the founding, like the build up, the founding of the 19th asterisk, which is a news organization based in the US, which focuses on female news, like impacting female. God, what am I trying to say? It's written by females for females,
Yeah.
and it's trying to be
Females bringing the
It's
news.
trying to break the status quo.
Exactly.
Trying to break the status quo. There we
news,
go.
the white male centric.
The news isn't just for the white man. The
Yeah.
white
news is-
straight men.
Yeah.
The news is for everyone.
Yes.
Yes. Breaking the glass ceiling.
Really going for that non-partisan, thing. Like just like here's the fucking news. Like it's not leaning one way or another. It's just the news.
Exactly.
Yes.
And telling those stories that typically wouldn't be covered in big news stories.
Or would be, but not in the same
not in the same
detail.
depth.
Yeah.
Not in the same
Not with
light.
the same depth. So
Yeah.
this one was a world premiere. Unfortunately, it is not on the platform and it is not screening again at the festival. So you'll just have to keep
You'll
your
have
eyes
to
out
wait.
for it.
Yeah.
To that point, what did you guys think?
I liked the way that they portrayed it. I didn't realize how big the 19th asterisk had gotten in terms of just their proliferation into news and like how I definitely read some of their articles without even quite knowing that I was reading a 19th.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
article.
do
Yeah.
recognize seeing their articles, especially during 2020 and like
for sure. Exactly.
the early days, for sure.
And I think it was interesting to watch sort of this like sort of scrappy fledgling like brand new news organization try to get off the ground during COVID. And like try to get funding and also like I appreciated the fact that they left like it was a glowy piece in a lot of ways of talking about how they were founded and like the good work that they're doing and like their journalists that they have that it did some great reporting, but like they didn't shy away from the fact that like they're not perfect. Like they have a lot of growth to do, especially when it comes to being more inclusive to non-binary and
LGBTQ.
people in their team. They left sort of like the negative stuff in, and especially when there was the one trans person on their team that felt very alienated when the company, the 19th, was celebrating all of their success as women and go girls and everything else, and they felt like they couldn't celebrate because they weren't a part of that. Like they didn't feel welcome, and they just kind of left it in the dock, which I thought was great. And then like the steps that they took to start recognizing it, and then as things changed in the world, especially around LGBTQ and trans people in general, that they started bringing on more trans people to start covering that
more diverse
that,
voices.
Yeah.
And
more queer.
Also to that point, just like they're the only ones who are writing LGBTQ pieces. And like
when it was only them too. Oh my God.
The strain, you get to see the strain on them, and you get to see the pain of being the only one. And it's like, it's nice that you can see how it progresses. All of that now I'm sidebarring. I think it's one of the first movies I've seen that really speaks to what it was like working during the pandemic.
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
Because everybody's in their own silo. They're all meeting on Zoom type thing. They're all talking. They're all texting and everything. They're outside. When they're talking to people, they're wearing masks. It gets like they didn't really hone in on COVID outside of like one or two stories where they were talking about the effects.
Yeah.
But like it spoke as like, this is what shit was like.
Yeah.
This is what your life was. If you were working and you weren't needed physically.
Yep.
Like this is what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
And like no rose-colored glasses at all. And I'm glad that they didn't focus on it. Like it was just a part of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I also think that it speaks to resilience and how powerful these women are and how dedicated and how they've persevered, because like I graduated from journalism school, almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not a journalist, at least in the conventional sense.
Right.
Like, and a lot of people I graduated with, I do not think went into journalism.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking hard.
Yep.
It is a lot of hours, a lot of thankless hours, a lot of not being paid properly.
Correct.
And like, you're up all night, all over the place. You can't really have a good family life. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there were only a couple of them that were married, and only a couple of them had kids.
Yeah.
Everyone else was very much single. Because you don't have fucking when you're writing this stuff, and when you're putting in this much work,
road or you're out.
You don't have time.
Yeah.
You don't have time. So kudos to them, and kudos to showing the price you pay to do this.
Yeah.
And how powerful and how, I don't like saying the word brave, how they didn't shy away. They didn't shy away from any story. They didn't shy away from the truth. And I'm just going to keep going on and on and on. So, but it was cool. It was cool to see. It was cool to see the ins, the outs, the what have yous, and that they didn't
absolutely.
It wasn't just gloss.
Yeah,
totally agree. I agree with everything you've said. I thought it was half decent. It kind of petered out at the end for me. But I think that's just on me. That's not on the story. Definitely an interesting one, and definitely one you should seek out.
Yeah, agreed. Especially because it's like, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, like I've read 19th articles without really knowing anything. 19th asterisk articles without really knowing anything about them. And it was kind of a fascinating look to see these guys, like them come together and figure out how to start a newspaper, basically, or a news publication,
like how it gets made
and how it get. It's really like a peer behind the curtain sort of thing of like, especially now, because like all media institutions generally, except for like blogs, are like old bedrock news organizations that have been around. Like no one just like starts a news company, so to speak.
Or they get swallowed up by
a bigger one, right? And like even the 19th asterisks started out just publishing under the Washington Post, of just like that was the only way that they could get their stuff out there easily on their website. But like they had an actual access to it, and then from there they just exploded into a proper full-fledged news company, which was cool. It was cool to see the full growth of it and like where they're at now and the big stories that they're covering.
Yeah. Good for them. Good for them. Strong women.
Absolutely.
Good for them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you'll have to keep a lookout for that one. I'm sure someone will buy it and it'll show up. Hopefully not just on Netflix. But you know what? Let's keep on the train.
Sure.
Let's do Chasing Amy.
Ooh.
Which is screening again, which was a world premiere and is screening again on Thursday, June 15th at 6 p.m. at Village East by Angelica.
Yep.
I kind of referenced this one in our last podcast because I was watching Chasing Amy.
Yes.
This one is about director Sav Rogers. He felt alienated as a young person who didn't quite know who they were.
Yeah.
And they found Chasing Amy and it got them through some hard times. So he decided to make a documentary about the film.
Yep.
And how it came together. And then the story kind of pivots from there because it changes into just like the power of art and what it can inspire and how it could change your life.
Yeah.
And just kind of, I really enjoyed it. I know Tony and I got to speak to Sav, so we know how personal this story is.
It's really cool. Yeah.
And it does feel very personal. And again, much like we were saying about breaking the news, it doesn't shy away from the ugly stuff. They have, there's genuine criticisms in here.
Yep.
From bloggers and from journalists about this film.
Yep.
And
it tackles kind of all the aspects of Chasing Amy in that way of just like its legacy in general.
Yeah. Like how the legacy isn't quite, again, rose colored.
Yeah.
Like that there's a tainted legacy to it. And like, we might think of it as one thing. Someone else who's in the community might think of it as something different. And then of course the Harvey Weinstein of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that they left that in there too, and you got to hear Kevin Smith talk about that a little bit and how that's impacted him, and and the way that through Sav, like he kind of gave Kevin his movie back in a way, even though he doesn't even own the movie, like it
belongs to the Weinsteins.
It belongs to the Miramax, I guess.
Yeah. No, the
Weinstein,
Miramax is
the Weinstein Group. Yeah.
I think Paramount owns Miramax now, and they own a ton of the movies, but not all of them.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, like I agree. I unfortunately did not get a chance to speak with Sav, which would have been a very cool conversation, but I enjoyed watching sort of his progression through it as well, and even halfway in the middle where he just finally was ready to like come to full terms with himself publicly. That I thought was a very interesting thing. They also just left that in there, which I was just like, good. Like
it's very honest, very raw.
Very honest, very raw.
Tony.
It's just a very powerful movie. Like it's wholesome. It caught me off guard because I love Chasing Amy. I remember in high school, everyone was going on and on about these romantic comedies, like your Matthew McConaughey, Tom Hanks, all that. And I'm like, have you seen Chasing Amy? Like that is a rom-com. Like that is,
I mean, goatee aside, but
goatee aside, the Ben Affleck of it all.
Ben Affleck's great in that film. The goatee is not great.
He needs to go.
The goatee and the use of the F word,
of course,
so literally,
of course. Yeah. But the thing that really hit me hard was the Joey Lauren Adams interview.
Oh yeah.
Like I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, even the fact that she straight out came up and asked him, and was just like, what do you want from me? Like
I hesitate to talk about it much other than to say it's kind of the focal piece of the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it kind of, whether you like Chasing Amy or not, whether you want to see Sav's journey and living his truth or not, the part with Joey Lauren Adams on her own is like, you have to see it.
Yeah.
Her speaking her truth about Chasing Amy is incredible.
Yeah.
And it's worth the price. It's worth the price of admission. It's worth watching all on its own.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a big recommend. Big recommend.
And luckily this one is going to be on the online platform.
Excellent.
So if you don't have a chance to see it later this week, you can rent it on the online platform, which is going from the 19th until July 2nd, I believe.
Yeah. I will say Breaking the News and Chasing Amy locked to my screen the whole time.
Oh,
did not, never let me go.
Oh, yeah.
So, and two very different pieces of subject matter, but two very, very like riveting docs that actually like work very, very well.
I watched it with Tony, and I know we had a good laugh when the one screenwriter or filmmaker was talking about the fisting.
Oh yeah.
Where she's like, if you've ever fisted I don't know if you've ever fisted anyone, but this is not what it looks like.
So
I laughed out loud at that
I
part.
love that.
Yeah.
But
Fucking whack.
to be honest with you guys, out of everything that we've seen so far, Chasing Amy is definitely my favorite of them all.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Totally.
Definitely got to seek it out immediately.
Yeah, that's fair. I really hope that this finds the audience it deserves.
Absolutely.
And you didn't say it here. You said it when you were talking to Sab, but inspiring.
Yes. Yeah.
Just very powerful, very intimate. And like, I think it's a great exploration of art and its effects and how one person can perceive it and how other people can perceive it.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
like that I really like that there's the criticisms there and how like people are taking Kevin Smith to task type thing. Like, I think I would have wanted a little more with Kevin Smith, hearing what people were saying.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he
kind of got off a little easy. Yeah.
Like, I feel like he got off a little easy. And I think I would have wanted more from Jason Lee, because like Jason Lee outright says like something along the lines of, why am I saying all these things? I don't like this dialogue.
There's a part in it where he says, I'm afraid to play this character.
Yeah.
Right. I think I would have liked to have heard from him more.
Yes. Agreed.
Because I definitely think I think there was definitely stuff
of his
to
apprehension right there. Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, like Tony said, I think it's my favorite as well so far of what we've seen. And just reiterating, I really, 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 really hope it finds an audience.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. So don't miss that one.
What do you want to talk about next?
Why don't we completely shift gears and talk about the short film that we watched.
Ooh, okay.
Called To My Father, which is a short film about Troy Kotsur, who won Best Supporting Actor for Coda a few years back.
Correct.
And kind of talking about his father, who was kind of his
big inspiration,
his biggest cheerleader, his biggest hero.
Yeah.
He outright shouts him out in his Oscar speech.
Absolutely.
Well, and when I say shout, like signs it out.
Yes. Yeah, it's very evident that like his father played a huge role just in that speech alone. But then I like that it's a really short film, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was about 20 minutes.
It really you heard it in his Oscar speech, and this is like, let's deep dive into that. Like, let's talk about your dad and who he was as a person, what he meant to. And I guess maybe not so much who he was as a person, but who he was as a father to Troy and his brothers.
Yeah.
And what his relationship with his dad growing up was like, and the tragedy that befell him just before Troy graduated high school. And
in 1987.
Yeah, he's graduating high school the year Dave's coming out of the womb. I didn't really know where it was going at first. I was like, okay, he's a cop. All right, cool. What does that mean? I guess he was the chief of police. All right, extra cool. But then like just sort of seeing that relationship that he had with his dad, and how his dad was like the best signer and the one that wanted and encouraged and communicated with him the most, and leading all the way up to the end. The little bit of an end scene where he goes to the cemetery
with his Oscar,
which
I love that he like
seatbelted it in,
like wrapped it around. I was like, man, I would do the same thing.
Yeah,
definitely do the same thing.
But I was just like, man, that was like really touching and like really, really kind of nice. I'm glad it was only like a short film too. Like it felt like the right length of time for the subject matter that was being covered.
I would agree.
And, I felt like I got to know Troy a little bit more, and like even the part where like he got the role in Coda, where like he was working at like some menial office job and hated his life, and then got the part,
and how it changed his life.
Yeah, and how his dad was the one that pushed him the whole way, and yeah,
I love the man's hats.
Yes,
I love his hats.
Many hats.
Can I just point out something super nerdy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it how this guy had a decent father? Had a half decent father?
Yikes.
I was trying to try and go through this whole thing without referencing that, but you know what? I want to know how much money he had for the short, because that camera looked real fucking nice. Those lenses,
Yeah.
real fucking nice, man. And just how it was crafted and how it was edited and how just how he
and they got all the extra actors. To,
The dramatization.
The dramatizations,
When
but
he's doing the Tom and Jerry, when he's acting out Tom and Jerry,
that
was
was
cool.
great. Yeah,
That was cool.
but the visuals.
Yeah.
And like how he showcases like old family videos and like old pictures and everything. I was just like, how much of a budget does this guy have? This is really nice. This is really
best supporting actor, Tony.
Of course. But it's like, it's not something, it's almost like it almost looks like a feature. Like it looks cinematic. It doesn't look like your typical short film. And I just liked how it was visually. It was very, very cool.
Documentary
subject.
Coming to the Oscars next year.
Probably will.
Probably will. But I'm just saying, visually, it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really dug it.
And it's just an interesting way to tell a story, because you can tell a story about your father and just sit on a chair, right? But it's just how you deliver that story.
And they did do that too, and I liked that. I liked that they just kind of like left it there and were just like, "Yep, he's gonna sign to you." And
open captions the whole time.
Open captions.
I love.
Like, and the voiceovers of his interpreter and stuff. And how it
and
was like overlaid with. I'm just saying how it was edited and just the visual storytelling of it. Was sensational. It's a big one.
I agree.
I also liked it.
Big recommend.
Yes. So this one's screening Wednesday, June 14th, 6 p.m. at Village East by Angelica, as well as Saturday, June 17th at 3:30, AMC 19th Street East 6. And I'm just saying all these words out loud, and I probably sound like a fucking idiot to somebody who actually lives in New York. Yeah. All of that said, it's also going to be on the online platform as well.
Thank you for calling Movie Phone.
Okay, let's pivot back. I didn't realize how many documentaries we were talking about.
So many.
A lot of documentaries.
I really, really want to talk about this because I really, really want to know. I want to know, James. This is not financial advice. So this one screens again on Thursday, June 15th at 8:45 at the AMC 19th Street East 6.
And if in case you haven't wondered what this movie is about, it's a movie about crypto.
Yes, it's a movie about crypto. Okay. And before James starts talking, it's kind of about the rise and fall of Dogecoin. That like kind of talking to like the one like fucking cheerleader who cheerleaded it the most, who wasn't Elon Musk, and kind of other people talking about their experiences with crypto and what they're putting in, and as well as some talking heads who have much more experience than these people who don't typically play stock market.
And okay, so
hit me, James. I've wanted to know what you thought about this.
In case you all haven't realized, James has some thoughts about crypto
Okay, look, I'm gonna take the most nuanced, unbiased take that I can on this. First of all, that you follow the main, beyond some of the talking heads that are financial experts, I guess, people that have been in the industry for a long time. You follow 4 main investors, let's call them subjects. Sure. We follow, as Dave mentioned, the
poster child
for Dogecoin. We follow a TikTok influencer. We follow a husband, I guess, a father, like just a regular sort of family man, and we follow a black man through sort of an interesting look at the rise and fall of crypto in general, but specifically in this case, Dogecoin.
So before you go on, the African American gentleman, he does like sessions learn and trying to teach more about financial.
Senai was probably the most that is the African American gentleman I'm mentioning. His name is Senai.
You guys have bridge on the weekend?
You know it. He was probably the most interesting part of this documentary. There was fascinating parts of this documentary, but he was the most interesting.
Well, yeah, because he actually has been around long enough to not just take on the fads. Is against crypto, which I'm sure spoke to your heart, and he was trying to help others learn more about financial markets and about investing.
Correct.
Much like the TikToker was also trying to do that, but in a different way because they were learning at the same time.
Correct. And yeah, the girl, I can't remember her name right now.
Obviously, she's not invited to bridge.
She's not. No, but as you kind of mentioned, like her journey through it was interesting as well, just in the angle that she took. And she kind of came to that realization that she's an influencer, not an investor. Like she's very good at like digesting and kind of explaining to a younger audience what some of these investing terms mean and what they can mean for you if you're looking to start getting into investing without specifically like shilling out for crypto in general. It's just kind of like financial advice.
Kayla Kilbride.
Kayla, that was it. Thank you. Kayla Kilbride.
Keep that up so we can reference the other people's names.
She was interesting to watch as well. Senai, I think, was like my most fascinating just because like the approach that he took in his investing strategy and like the way that he's used that, and he had like a goal in mind, but he also realizes that investing is not a get rich quick scheme. It is a long period of time. If you make the right moves and you're smart about it and you look at it and you're not following trends and fads, you can make real money in this game, in this business. And then he's reinvesting that money back into his own community, which I thought is a very admirable goal.
Oh yeah, he's buying back the block.
Buying back the block.
That's so cool.
Which is so
and
cool.
I loved him doing the drawing Malcolm X.
The Malcolm X on the outside of the building. Yeah. And then his hosting like financial seminars for
that was the word I was looking for.
Other marginalized groups that historically have not gotten the privilege of knowing how to invest and like hosting those things for his community. He's a cool guy. There's no doubt. The other part of this is like, okay, first of all, I have a lot of problems with crypto, but not for what it is. It can be something good. It just is not right now. It is very, very volatile. It is very, very, very much a fucking hustle, straight up.
Which the documentary also addresses.
Yeah, because, Elon Musk joked about it on SNL. And by joked, I mean accidentally told the truth about what it actually is, at least in its current state. Also, big ups to fucking Mana and the fucking in the metaverse. That was cool. Great. Glad they fucking brought that piece of shit up.
I thought of you when the metaverse came out.
I loved it. I loved it. I know we haven't addressed it, but I had to speak to the metaverse and about Mana in a presentation last winter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to deliver it multiple times, but I had to go back to James to talk to him because he was the only person I knew who actually knew what I was saying. And just the anger and the fury and just...
It makes me mad.
Just how upset he got. And just it was fun to see that stuff come up because I was like, yay, I know what they're talking about.
Like it's a hustle in the sense of like, look, the only way that you can make money currently is by convincing somebody else to buy your shit. Otherwise, it's fucking worthless. Like it has no actual value of anything.
Yeah, you're convincing
you
somebody.
Can convince someone else that it's good enough, then you can offload your shit and make some money. And I do like, again, another documentary that didn't quite shy away from it. It wasn't glorifying crypto the entire time. It was just kind of straight up saying it. And even the Doge father,
tell us what the Doge
Globert.
I know he was pro. I know that was his YouTube name.
Glauber. Yeah, Glauber Contesoto. He like. Credit to him for holding on to it the whole time, but also his friends were like, bro, why are you not selling it? You've made like you could sell right now and have over $1 million. You can get yourself out of any financial situation.
Close to 3.
It was close to 3 during the SNL episode. He had a brief moment. 2.9 mil. And he could have sold, and he didn't, and he's just holding on to it. Now, granted, again, kudos to this doc for just following it through. He's making enough money now. Like he's
he's getting sponsorship dollars,
right? But again, he's not an investor. He's now an influencer.
Yes,
like he is now just a YouTube host.
Well, good for him for pivoting and finding a way.
He learned a very hard lesson.
Of course, he did. And he used that lesson and he pivoted.
I also want to know why he wears his sweaters like that or his hoodies.
I think it just became his like personality.
Because I was like, why the fuck are you wearing it like that?
Yeah, man? I think it just became his personality. Also, that wrap was just terrible. And also the celery juice. Jesus fuck, man.
Celery. Look, his trip to Costco, just buying like a case of celery.
Yeah. Look, I think like when you look at this entire documentary, when you step back at the end of it and look at it, it's definitely not saying you should fucking put all of your money in crypto right now. It's very much like there is a world of knowledge out there that you can learn about proper sound investing strategies. The one thing that was mentioned multiple times was fucking diversify. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Otherwise, just go to the casino. Just go to the fucking roulette table and put all your money on 17, and it's the same thing. It's just going to happen in seconds instead of years. Like,
this is true.
It was very much, this is not financial advice, but if you take a step back and look at it, it kind of was. It was good points of like, look at Senna. He was able to diversify his book. He was making smart investment choices, and he's looking at a long-term future, not putting everything in Dogecoin or fucking, oh, fuck, I made huge windfalls from, what the fuck?
Mana?
But it wasn't from Mana. It was something else.
The one that was named after Elon Musk's stock.
Oh, Floki. Fluky coin or whatever the fuck. No. No, maybe it was Dogecoin, but he cashed out and then reinvested all of it back into Mana and then lost everything that he just
it was Mana.
It was in Mana. So it went up. He reinvested.
He took it out and then he put it back.
Yeah. And then lost most of it anyway. Because again, like you're only doing one thing. Like you can't. Also, watching that guy's entire life fall apart was fucked. But again, didn't shy away from it. It just literally like that guy was living in his shed, or his storage unit, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Also, I called that happening when his kid got dropped off at the storage unit, and like his wife was definitely not there. And I was like, oh no, this man's life is in the toilet.
All of what you said, yes.
Yeah.
I think it would have been more interesting if it stuck with the addiction aspect of it.
Yeah, it was briefly
as
mentioned.
well as kind of like the unhealthy mindset, like where crypto trades all day type thing. Like 3 a.m, it's moving type thing, as opposed to the stock market, which is very much it opens and it closes.
Yeah. And then you're okay until the next day.
Yeah. I think that would, because like the last chunk of the movie, when they're talking about influencing and how they're losing money left and right, how it's not a good idea. They have the fat Jewish come on and talk real talk about influencing and like internet culture and meme culture. Like I thought I would have wanted to hear more from him, because that was exactly
his investment in cummies.
Yeah. That was exactly what I wanted to hear from that movie.
Yeah.
At the end, like I could care, like the Doge father or whatever the fuck.
Well, I think Elon Musk is the Doge father.
Okay. The Doge son then.
Sure.
The prodigal Doge son, or Doge son, whatever. Like, he's not a good guy. No. And I don't want to like, when shit is happening, I'm like, tough shit, bro.
Yeah.
You fucking brought this on yourself.
Yeah. Even when he gets offered, like he loses most of his, by the end of the doc, his Dogecoin account is back to almost basically what he started with. Like he started with 180,000, which also, fucking Christ, that also, he like maxed out all of his credit cards and everything in order to get $180,000 together to invest
in Dogecoin.
And then basically ended up at the end of it with the exact same amount.
But he also has $700,000
because he pivoted, yes. But it was just like, man, bro, like fuck. And then
he's living in a fucking
shoebox
studio that's smaller than the room we're in.
Yeah. And like,
And we're not in a big room.
no.
Well, big ups to him for getting that Vegas apartment.
Yeah, the big fucking house. Yeah.
I wanted to see him play with that fucking Street Marvel versus Capcom machine.
God, he had a storage unit full of fucking arcade machines. What the hell? Anyway, and like even when he got the marketing job and they were like, oh, do you want to get paid in money or Dogecoin? And he went Dogecoin. And what the fuck is wrong? Even his mom was like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's just like the delusion that you have to have at that level of just like, oh, it's everything. And like there was real people. Look, he's a real person, but like there was a lot of real people that like fell into that fallacy, that FOMO of like, oh, I'm gonna miss out on this huge crypto bubble. Like I gotta get in, and then they lost even more because they got in way too late. Like Elon knew what the fuck he was doing. He definitely had a financial guy ready to go.
He had a financial
guy ready to press the button the moment it spiked on SNL, and then probably sold fucking everything at that moment and just went, oh, I'm good. And like lost nothing.
Let's not pretend that Elon Musk knows what he's doing.
But no, it was all like, anyway, I have a lot of issues with crypto in its current form, but I like that the documentary, again, another documentary that didn't hold back, wasn't glorifying one way or the other, just very much like, here's the thing. Could it have done more talking about addiction? 100%. And the reality of like currency trading, which doesn't matter if it's crypto or regular currency, that shit is an addiction and it trades constantly and it's fucked. Could have done better with that. Yeah, definitely. It tried at the end, but I think it was like too little too late at that point and it had to move on to other things.
So are we all gonna go get some Ethereum after this?
Fuck no. You gonna buy some space in the metaverse, Dave? That ghost shell of a fucking place that exists?
On Decentraland.
Oh,
they showed it.
I know they showed Decentraland, Dave. I was so angry. And I love that the only shots that they had of it was the map and the landing area where the most amount of people exist, because as we experience, nobody's there. Like you get down to the fucking planet, I don't even know, whatever the fuck it is. You get down to the metaverse itself and it's a ghost town.
Hey man, I went to where Ice Cube had his thing and Ice Cube was there. He said hi to me.
He said hi to you, Dave. Anyway.
I want to hear what Tony has to think. Tell us what you think, because I have one more thought, but I want you to say what you have to feel first.
I really enjoyed this one. I thought the subjects were all interesting. I really liked the Doja Godfather or the fuck.
Sure. Yeah.
Bro. He made me cringe a lot. And like seeing his money fluctuate. Like you guys know how I am with money and you know how anxiety-ridden I get. Watching his fucking thing go up and down, and it's just like, sell, you fucking moron. What are you doing?
Screaming at the screen. Yeah.
Oh man. Like all he had to do, if he didn't want to take out the money, fine. Whatever. At least take out what you invested. So after that, like anything you lose is not what you had to begin with. You took out what you had and everything else is bonus.
Yeah.
Like use your fucking head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he made me angry. He made me real angry.
Oh, I bet.
Cause like honestly, if it was honestly me, once I hit 1 million, gone. You know what, man?
Yeah. I don't care about the rest.
I don't give a shit about the rest.
Yeah.
Don't give a shit. I'll like take out 100,000, like go blow it on a bunch of Blu-rays because it is me, and then like just like fucking invest the rest.
Yeah. I want to see Tony like with an investment strategist and just kind of figuring out where he should be investing his money.
Yeah,
just him on the phone every day, every day talking to this guy.
Yeah,
it was great. I really enjoyed it. Fuck crypto. For a brief moment, I was like, you know what? Maybe.
Welcome.
I texted you guys
welcome to the other side of the pillow.
I was just like, are we investing in Dogecoin or what?
Oh man.
I was like, maybe. And then after the end, I was like, you know what? I'm good.
As I definitely have sent it to you in the past, but there was a YouTube doc that was called Line Goes Up, and it's an hour and a half or 2 hours. It's pretty fucking long, but if you want to understand the hustle that is crypto, just watch it. Dan Olson, Folding Ideas is the channel, but do it because that is an unashamed look at what crypto is. And everything is in service of making that line go up. And the moment it stops going up, they don't care anymore. They've cashed out and made their money. Final thought?
It also reminded me of this Diamond Hands doc I saw last year at South by that was about Wall Street Bets
Yeah.
and AMC
AMC,
and
GameStop.
It was all about that. So it reminded me a lot of that when
Yeah.
all the meme stuff kept coming up. It was all that. And they kept showing the diamond hands and the paper hands. I was like, I get it. Yay.
Dave's included.
Yay. Because I'm not great at investments.
Me either.
And I don't know a whole lot about financial markets. So
I just know a Ponzi scheme when I see one.
Yeah. And it's, as Tony said, it's very nerve-wracking to watch some of it play out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think I would have wanted more about the addiction and that. I think that would be more interesting to see. Just because they're talking about how
kind of a footnote.
They're just talking about how it's younger people who are doing these sort of things.
Sure.
And how they're getting addicted to it, but it's totally different from what Wall Street bros are doing, right? So it would have been interesting to kind of just have that dynamic.
Yeah, agreed.
And mostly because I didn't like that guy.
Yeah,
fuck that. I just wanted to just shake him violently.
Yeah,
I just wanted to. I couldn't.
What are you doing?
Right? I couldn't look away, man. I just needed to see that train wreck.
And like,
I was sitting there, knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Lie to your guys, man. Take the money out and just be like, hey, it's still going up.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I can't take it out. I have too many fans. Fuck.
10 million.
What?
Gotta get to 10
You're
million.
in debt.
You are so in debt,
buddy.
You live in a literal shoebox.
Yeah. Your fucking screen door is falling apart, bro.
Your fucking vision board is like on the roof because you have nowhere to put it.
Yeah. In the bathroom. Yeah.
When he hosted the party, I was like, where are you these people?
Whack. He had to take away his table.
Yeah,
I wanted that chair though. I do love that chair.
It is a good chair.
It's a good chair.
And
he had
like $800.
He had all the artwork.
Yeah, all the artwork.
All his fucking fan art.
Oh
Jesus.
my God. I love
man.
All right, that's enough about this. I'm done talking.
You're upset.
I'm upset.
All right. Well, why don't we finish off then with the titular Songs About Fucking, which is running again on Friday, June 16th at 9:15 at the Village East by Angelica. I did not have the privilege of watching this, but I really want to because I just love it when I see movies that have the word fucking in the title.
Absolutely.
That's just fun for me. But
Absolutely.
boys, tell me about this one, which is also a doc.
Tony, you want to talk about this first?
I had no idea who this
Absolutely,
Mark,
of course you did.
Rebuild.
You want his proper pronunciation?
Yes.
Mark Rebier.
Okay.
Just call him Mark.
I had no idea.
Bridge on Sundays.
I had no idea who the fucking this guy was.
Sure.
But he has some fucking anthems and they are a bop.
Buddy. Yeah.
Like, when's the next concert in Canada? Like, when's he playing in Canada? Because
He was just here.
Fuck.
I know. It was here in October. I couldn't go because I had to go to your fucking wedding.
Well, sometimes you got to get married to your best friend twice.
But Mark Rebier, Tony.
I know.
Now that you know, if I skipped your wedding, would you have understood?
If you skipped my third wedding, you can go.
Thank you for that permission. I appreciate that.
Why are we talking about a third wedding? I don't
it's
have
happening.
Any more
It's
money.
happening. It's happening.
How much money you want me to
Vow
put into
renewal
this?
after 1 year.
2 years.
2 years. You're married 2 years.
How much fucking money you want me to put into this thing?
All of it.
This guy is fucking wild.
Yeah, man.
Like, he has a very wild persona.
Yep.
So it was basically about Mark
Rebier
and his first tour after COVID.
Yep.
And it just follows the trials and tribulations of this tour and the shenanigans that he gets up to. And,
Absolutely.
It follows a bit of his work when he was doing YouTube videos during COVID.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I would say it's a twofold documentary. It's covering his tour post COVID, and also kind of a little bit of like a biopic about his life as well. Like it's interspersed with some of the his YouTube shows that he still does, and has been doing, like, that's how he started his YouTube. He started back in like 2015, and
so he's like Bo Burnham
in a way, yeah, kind of. I'll get to that in a sec, but it was also and then also intercut with earlier parts of his life, growing up with his dad.
Yeah.
And
childhood videos and like that kind of stuff.
It was another documentary that was kind of focused on his dad being like an inspiration to who he became. To
him writing songs about fucking.
To him writing songs about fucking, yeah. So I guess the first time I love that they included it in here because it's always been my favorite piece of Mark Rebier lore is the fact that like he was on the news buying that first iPhone, and he sold his spot in line. He was that was his big like 15 minutes of fame. He was on CNN when the first iPhone was coming out. He was in line at AT&T to buy one, and he was first in line. It was him, his dad and his brother, very front of the line. And this woman came with $16,000 cash. And went up to them and was like, "Can I buy your spot in line?" And he sold it for $800. And the woman's goal was to go in with 16 grand in cash and buy all of the iPhones at the AT&T store. Except AT&T had a limit of one per customer. So he got $800 and bought his iPhone. Like everything worked out just great. So anyway, that was his claim to fame. Is that news clip has been around since he became somewhat famous. But yeah, so he's been a practicing musician since he was a kid. Piano is his main game, and he started a YouTube show. I think it was like 2015 or so, and started like making some songs. It was kind of low key. He then started pivoting towards having almost like a call-in show. So like you could call into a number and talk to him directly. And you could either ask him questions. I think at points he was doing it almost like they showed scenes where he was just like sitting in his couch chair. Like I think he was doing it like a therapy session almost. Like you can just call in like a public access show. And then it pivoted as it got later on to he would have people call in, he would talk to them, and they would give him like an idea for a song, and he would improvise a song. And that's what he became known for. Was his songs are not like produced, made, and like written down and all of this in advance. It is all improvised. It is all on the spot. Everything is just made up as he goes. So all of his shows, everyone is completely unique. He makes it all up. Like there's nothing pre-recorded when he starts. So even if he's playing a song, there was a couple of songs in here where they were songs that he's done in the past on a YouTube stream, like Get the Fuck Up, Bitch, Let's Go is like one of the best songs he's ever made. But every time he plays that at a show, he has to recreate it live. Like he doesn't just press play and then start singing. He's recreating that beat from memory in like on display as it goes with a loop thing. So he's affectionately known as Loop Daddy because he does loops, and that's what he uses to make on craft all of these beats. But his subjects can be anything, and generally they've leaned towards the, I don't know, vulgar, if you want to call it. It's a lot of lovely R&B, rap, EDM sort of songs, but mainly about fucking. And
as you do.
Yeah, I like when he drops the beat, when he's just like, for sake of argument, this isn't what happens, but it's just like, and fucker in the ass. And then like the fucking bass drops. He'll
drop into it. Yeah.
Amazing.
So he's created an entire persona around himself that's developed over all these years of doing YouTube videos. And his persona is he wears kimonos. Or he also has a Hotel Chevalier robe that he wears occasionally as well, which I've always envied.
As you would.
He's got a mustache. He's got long hair. And if he's ever wearing clothes, it is like jeans and a tucked in white shirt. That is it. That is all he will ever wear. It is like a very well crafted persona.
But he's basically
on stage, he's only wearing underwear.
Yeah.
And that's his.
I was going to say he has a kimono and his underwear, and he takes the kimono off and he's just fucking jamming in his tighty whities basically.
But he's a very like inclusive guy. He doesn't like everyone is included. Like he does that whole thing in there where he's like wearing a bra. Yeah. And he's like, I wear a bra, you can wear a bra, sort of thing, like being very like, get the fucking like, bigotry and hatred out of here, sort of thing. He's a fucking character, straight up. Like he's one of the most interesting people to see perform live, to make music, to watch a YouTube show. The Get the Fuck Up, Bitch, Let's Go. I was watching that live stream when he made that. It was one of the most wild things I've ever seen happen. And it became like a sensation. Like nice. I've been watching his streams since I found him. He came across my YouTube feed in like 2018, and I've been watching him ever since. And I've been like one of the very few people that's known about him. And when this doc came out, I was like, fuck yes! Like, let people know that this guy exists. And Tony, I'm so glad you're on board.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
like he's fucking something. And like, the doc itself was just so interesting because he is so interesting.
Yeah.
And like I would listen to this guy talk forever because he's just such a character.
Yep.
And he's almost like a force of nature. And he's not playing a character. He's not acting. That's just
This
him.
is him.
And it's awesome to watch.
He's very charismatic,
Yeah.
very outgoing, very like
And just a super cool dude.
Friendly,
Like, very
yeah.
friendly. He's not a dick. He's nice to all his fans, and he's just something else, man.
yeah, like he understands that he would be nowhere without his fans, and like appreciates and loves and respects that, and like everybody is his friend. Like it's just who he is. He's just one of the more recently he's been doing like street concerts in New York. Like he'll just pop up on a street corner and start making music, and people will just crowd around and watch him, and like it's wild. It's wild that he's like basically grown and created from scratch, cultivated a fan base that knows him, and that's it. Like that's been the extent of people's knowledge. It was like a word of mouth thing. You either kind of knew about Mark Rebier or you did not. There's no in between. He's on Spotify. You can listen to it, but no one would ever like know that he even exists unless you are kind of in the know. He's a pop-up shop of music artists.
All right.
That's a good way of putting it.
But otherwise, like the doc was very cool. I learned a lot more about him than you would ever glean from just like his personality. So like hearing about his dad, hearing about how he grew up and started, and like who his dad was to him as well. And like he has that emotional moment talking about his dad and the fact that like he's since passed and he never got to see his son perform like in front of a crowd, in front of a huge audience. And and just how much his dad meant to him. So it was a very good doc. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. Perhaps a little bit too long, but it was a lot of fun.
A pinch.
Yeah.
Got a little long-winded at the end, but
Yeah.
So you're telling me I should watch it?
You should,
defs.
because you're gonna find a new artist, and you might
All right.
then start following him on YouTube, and then watch
Go
a
down
live
a
stream on
rabbit
YouTube.
hole?
Yeah, it's fun.
Already got a couple of his songs on Spotify already.
Absolutely, you do.
All right. Well, that one's also not going to be on the platform, so hopefully you will write it down, or you will go see it on June 16th.
Yes,
But I think that about wraps us up for this special episode.
absolutely.
We'll be back again with some normal content next week, but we will also we'll be talking about Tribeca again, a couple more films that we see, and some recos for the online portal.
Yeah. Is there any others that you want to that you're excited to see?
I really want to see Our Son and
Nice.
Bucky fucking Dent, like Tony mentioned.
Yep.
And what else?
I want to see Stan Lee.
Yeah,
So-
I want to see Stan Lee. I want to see Maggie Moore's.
I want to see The Line.
Yeah, the line sounds
right,
very
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I want to see the Cyndi Lauper doc and the one with Hideo Kojima.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting very excited. There's still lots to come for this festival.
Absolutely.
We're very privileged to be able to
Yes. Thank you,
cover
Tribeca.
it from Canada and not have to be
Yes. Thank
boots
you
on
so
the
much.
ground.
Thank you so much, Tribeca, for understanding that we exist in Canada.
And maybe this is just the excuse we need to go to next year's Tribeca, be
Hey,
boots on the ground next year at
hey.
Tribeca.
I wouldn't mind. We could do that.
Yeah, I would be down. But thanks for listening to this special episode. And we'll hear you soon. My name is Dave, and I'm here with
Jimmy.
and
Big Tasty Tony B.
Hell yeah.
and we will see you again, or you'll hear from us again very soon.
Excellent. Bye.
Bye.